I love the way that this whole space is moving because it's letting people do what they want to do, not making them take the safe route and get a job at a place that they hate working at for the rest of their life. It's like anybody has the ability to build something on social media as long as they put the effort and time into the value and the content that they're delivering.
Hello to everyone, Anatoliy is here and it's Ecom Business Podcast, and today I have a guest which is going to be helping out to several out of you who are their entrepreneurs and trying to scale their business and especially to bring their authority in front of the broad audiences. So basically my guest today is Mike Roddy, which is he brings is a very attractive skill set on the table in today's marketing. He's a CEO and founder of the Empire Social Group, which is helping grow in amazing authorities and influence on online marketing space. His growing and online presence have been built several huge authorities out there who are becoming influencers in the marketing space. And he's not just like using this secret weapon of the growing the accounts just to make the money from it, but also it's bring on the table a lot of high quality people who are able to share the value with the masses, and plus building a huge brand, and not only one. Well, in our days you have to understand it's very important by being an authority and influencer person in your particular space, you're able to build several brands horizontally by using just your name. And he is exactly the person who is the behind the scene doing this all the magic. Hey Michael, what's up?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, and I'm actually excited about our subject today because I believe this is gonna be valuable for people out there, not just in e-commerce space, but especially like, okay, in having a store, but thinking about coaching side or building an agency or building even an Ecom brand, but by using their name. And I'm really excited to listen you as an expert in this industry, all the advices. Is it sounds good for you?
Absolutely. It's always good for me. As long as when I'm doing a podcast with you, anything goes. We're good.
Awesome. Love it, man. Bro, tell me please about your experience in terms of why you have decided to do that. First of all, why you have decided and how that was going at the beginning.
So it's kind of funny, like this agency that is today Empire Social Group. It actually started as like a side hustle, like seven years ago. And, my partner, Los Silva, and at the time I was actually working for Los and I was like his video guy. So I was following him around the country, videoing him at events, speaking engagements. And then, he actually had an Instagram account that had gotten stolen and hacked. So we had to basically start his account from scratch. It had like 20K followers at the time. And, I started managing his page because I was already the one filming his content. And I started learning Instagram pretty well by just understanding content, right? Because like a lot of people kind of just didn't understand what to post, but I understood content pretty well. So that was like the first and most important thing was I just started understanding what content was resonating with his audience, what content would be linear with his niche, and the people that are interested in what he does as a business owner and entrepreneur. And then, we started trying to figure out how to growth hack it because growth hacking had started to become a little bit more mainstream. People were starting to kind of figure out the algorithm on Instagram and how to kind of growth hack accounts to get like exponential reach. And, we had met a friend of mine, Josue Pena. He actually I actually bought his course when it came out, and then we met, and then he just kind of took me under his wing and taught me pretty much everything. And so I had basically learned how to grow accounts mainly just for Los. Like it was really just, we didn't think of it as a business model at the time. It was just to help him get more exposure and get more speaking engagements and help him build his network. And, we started going to these events, and, Los was like talking to me about, hey man, we should start some sort of side hustle. He couldn't really pay me more for the sake of it at the agency because it just wouldn't be fair. So we started, he started talking to people in the green room at these events. And they were like, yeah, I wish I had somebody that could grow my account. And then Los was like, oh, Roddy knows how to do it. And I'm like, yeah. So then I started, getting a couple people from there. And then eventually, it turned from a side hustle into okay, this thing's doing multiple 5 figures a month. Okay, now this thing's doing 6 figures a month. And, then it turned into a multi-million-dollar social media agency that started out mainly as an Instagram agency. But at this point, we're doing pretty much every channel, on the map: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. And, so it's kind of evolved into this full kind of turnkey social media agency where we kind of have productized our services, and, we've kind of created this strategy of loyal audience creation. And, that's really how it kind of evolved into where it was today. It's just, we started helping one person, which was Lowe's, and then we started doing it for more than one individual. And I started working with some of the really big people that you see now, like Bedros Keuilian is still one of my clients. He's been with me for like 5 years. Brandon Carter, he's King Keto on Instagram. He's been with me for, north of 4 years. Working with Tanner Chittister, work with a lot of big people. And, our client retention is fantastic. We've just built really good relationships with our clients, and, we've helped them not only scale their personal brands, but also, get them to grow their account with a real authentic following. So that way they can not only grow their account and have a larger audience to have more authority and credibility, but they're also able to monetize these followers, because we're not really getting them to follow these people with anything other than content. We're doing really shout outs. We have a very good network. And there's no secret sauce. It's just shout outs, but shout outs could be very expensive and difficult if you don't understand what pages to leverage to grow your clients' accounts. So that way, like, you're using pages that have similar audience interests. And then the other thing is just understanding what content is going to really get the most amount of attention on these viral pages, because the more engagement and visibility that content piece gets on that massive page that we're leveraging for traffic, the more page visits we're going to get our clients, which is going to result in more followers. So there's a lot of moving pieces to it, but the most imperative thing that I always fall back to is, like, if you don't understand content, this isn't going to be something that you can scale or really have an effective, cost-effective campaign with. It could get very expensive if you don't understand that. So content is really the main game for pretty much any channel or platform. So I always tell people, like, there's really no secret, like, to hacking this. You have to go back to the basics, which is the foundation of what all these platforms have been created on, and it's content. So content speaks everything. If your content is good, your messaging is dialed in, you could still grow organically. It's not impossible. It's definitely a lot harder, but it's not impossible. We've had clients that have had significant growth by just, having a couple of posts on their page go viral. And, we have clients that, that haven't had massive organic growth, but they get really good conversions on the growth campaign because their content's so dialed in. So really, if you're starting out in the game and you're kind of wondering where to start, you want to start with, like, where your niche is, right? Like, what niche are you in and what industry is that going to be in? Because if you choose a niche in an industry that you don't have expertise in, or even a little passion with, it's like, it's not going to be fulfilling for you, and it's not really going to be something that you enjoy doing on a daily basis. The beautiful thing about social media is that it's allowed people, the average individual, to create content and potentially build a massive brand from it. So it's like, the first thing you should think of is, like, what am I good at? Or what am I not really that great at, but I'm very interested in, that I can learn more of, right? And you want to go the route of what those two things are, because when it comes to building an online presence and creating content for some sort of niche industry, vertical, etc., you want to do something that you have expertise in, because at the end of the day, the value that you're providing is not in the quality of the edits, unless you're a video editor or post-production, expert. The value is in what you're giving. What is the information that people are receiving from your content, and that is value. It doesn't need to be a $20,000 to $60,000 camera. You can use your phone. Like, I got $60,000 worth of camera equipment in here, and this freaking $1,200 phone shoots just as good. You don't need to make it really difficult. You just need to be resourceful, and you need to really provide the information that people are looking for, right? Like, what are people's pain points? What are they struggling to figure out in your niche that you can solve, right? Because if you're an entrepreneur, you're a problem solver first. So if you can solve problems for people by giving them the information, then the amount of value and the credibility of your personal brand is so much more substantial than anybody else's. So value comes first. Well, content and value, right? So content and value go hand in hand, but always make sure that the content that you're providing is valuable, shareable, and viral. And if those things mean that you don't need a big camera, it's true. You don't need a big camera. You just need something to articulate, to give to people, so that way they can figure out, okay, this guy is giving out a bunch of free content. I'm going to continuously follow him because I trust him. You also nurture these people and you start to build trust with your audience. And that's something that, helps when it comes to building a brand that you monetize, because, you also don't have to jump into social media just to monetize people. You should honestly jump into social media and add value for as long as you can before you start monetizing, because people always want to know, like, what's in it for me, right? People like you and I, Anatoliy, we think, how can we add value for somebody before we think about what's in it for us? But the majority of this platform is always thinking, what's in it for me? So you have to really think about what the user, what the average user, or what the users in your niche industry are really looking for. And that's where you need to basically use that as like your kind of unique mechanism to articulate that value through content. And if you can figure out what your audience pain points are, what they struggle with, what they enjoy doing, what they love, then that's arguably like the most important KPIs that you can really leverage to grow a substantial brand. Because the more value that you provide to people on this platform, or any platform overall, the more success you're going to have as an individual that is trying to establish themselves as an authority in their industry. According
to what you just said about value and the content, do you still believe that, because first of all, taking the mobile phone and record the videos can really grab millions of views to compare you do the same with the camera and it will be thousands of views. I mean, it's really like random things, which is iPhone is, or like a good other Android phone. It's really good enough for recording videos for social media, I guess so, at least in the personal experience. But I was planning to ask you, do you still believe that only value would be enough in the content, or it's supposed to be effects which will hold the attention, and like views will be more deeper, that person will be just like looking more and more because of the nice graphic designs? So if you lack of budget, if you lack of the graphic design skills, but you have valuable thoughts, in your opinion, that would be enough, or better to add it extra touch to it?
Absolutely. You don't, it's and if you need a graphic designer, the thing is that people immediately dismiss the resources that they have access to today. Like 10 years ago, we didn't have any of the resources that we had today. Like it has substantially grown, and so many platforms, which are also free just join, have really kind of like entered the market, and really done a good job at helping people create a cost-effective, budget for them to help with any outsourced work that they can't really fulfill on their own. But, when it comes to the edits, when it comes to graphic design and all that stuff, there can be, like if you have a pretty massive brand, obviously the more appealing and pretty your content is, that it is going to help kind of add some more fire, some more gasoline to the fire. But if you're just starting out, you don't need to have all of that stuff dialed in. Most of the big people that you see on any platform, whether it's YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, none of those people started out with content that was high quality edits, insane post-production stuff. Most of them were creating content and using the native tools that the platforms give them, as a normal individual user. Like the tools that you can do to make IG Reels or TikToks or even Shorts today are basically like all integrated into their platforms. So like as far as edits go, I've noticed that the more native your content looks, the better it performs, right? Unless you have like a pretty substantial following, it's not going to like really add anything to your page, because at the end of the day, people are on these platforms not to like be bombarded by, just every single user that has pretty content. They're all looking for entertaining content. They're all looking for valuable content, and they're looking for stuff that just helps them maybe find a solution to an answer, or to a question that they have, or to a problem that they're having. So I think that it does help to a certain extent when you have a substantial following, but if you're just starting out, I don't think it adds anything in particular to the value of your brand, unless you're job as a post-production editor, right? Like if you're an editor and you're trying to be like an influencer in the post-production space, obviously, yeah, you want to have insanely good, high quality content because the value that you're providing is the quality of your edits and your expertise as a post-production expert, but besides that, like there's people like, Brock Johnson. I follow him on Instagram. He's a really good content creator and a social media, specifically Instagram expert as well. And if you look at his content, he doesn't really create like anything with like a camera. Like everything that he does is all through his phone. He just uses the IG native platform, tools that are readily available to him on his phone. He doesn't have a camera. He doesn't, do anything crazy with post-production. It's very native looking. And the reason that in my opinion, it performs well is, when you're using more of the tools that Instagram, TikTok, even, YouTube and stuff provide to you, you're going to be rewarded with more visibility because they want you to use the tools and interact with the platform more. If you have a post-production editor, it's not going to perform less, but you are going to probably have better, experience with overall reach and visibility if you use the native tools that are presented to you on the platform, just because, they try to incentivize creators to use the tools as much as possible. And people don't want to see ads on social media. Look at how much of the user interface has grown on Instagram and TikTok because people on Facebook are just so tired of having their entire feeds flooded with ads. So that's why people are kind of more into those kind of native content pieces where they have the green screens behind them. They have the words pop up, this funny sound bites, because it's so native, right? So if you're going to make content that is monetization heavy or it is sales driven, the more native you make it look, the better it's going to convert, because people don't want to feel like they're being, manhandled by ads. They want to feel like they're getting a better user experience. And the way that they're going to have a better user experience is by just enjoying the platform, keeping their retention on the platform longer. And the longer that you are able to keep a user on the platform, the better. And the best way to do that is to just, incentivize them with entertainment, good quality content, something that's going to stop them while they're scrolling on the feed. And that, that just comes from just understanding your audience. What is your ideal client avatar? What does your audience enjoy? So the beautiful thing about Instagram or any social media platform and overall is you have the ability to ask your followers or your audience, what are you guys into? What are you guys interested in? You can literally have a very, intimate conversation with your audience by just asking them questions, and you're getting so much free data by asking and kind of going back and forth with these people because, one, they're following you because they enjoy your content and they probably are inspired by you in some capacity. So when you invite them to interact with you and ask them what they want to see more of, it not only does it create a better and more loyal audience, but it helps with the overall activity and the engagement and visibility of your page. Because if they're seeing that you're interacting with them just as they are with you, then it's just going to continuously gravitate more and more people because they're so vetted to your content that they're going to start sharing your content to their friends. And that, by chance is going to get you more followers because now other people who may not been following you before are going to start seeing your content. So there's so many different ways that you could really grow an audience on Instagram. Like there's an opportunity every single day to continuously grow because, somebody asked me the other day, they said, I'm in the fitness space. I'm not sure if it's something I should do because the market is pretty oversaturated on this platform. I disagree with that because what they're not thinking about is how many new users are downloading Instagram, TikTok.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So because there's so many new users downloading this on a monthly basis, like 100,000.
Not aware yet.
Yeah.
Not aware yet. Yeah.
So yeah, as the niche and the industry grows, the amount of new users on the platform are also going to grow. So like it just continuously grows. There's a blue ocean of opportunities. There's over 1 billion users on this platform. There's plenty of leads out there for all of us, So you kind of have to have that abundance mindset and think more about, okay, yeah, there is a lot of people in the same niche as me, but there's also a shit ton of people that are downloading this on a daily or if not monthly basis. So these platforms are going to continue to grow. It'll get to a point where we're at 2-3 billion users or something like that, right? Because we're going to just keep getting more users on a platform, which means that every niche and every industry is going to have more opportunities to grow an audience and build it, right? There's a younger generation that's coming into social media right now. Gen Z, they're young right now. And a lot of people, in the entrepreneurial space, there's TikTok has grown massively. When it first came out, it was more of a younger demo. Now the demographic has broadened so much. And a lot of people ask me, they're like, well, I do think TikTok has value to it, but it's just the demographic is just too young for me. So instead of me telling them that's false, I'll tell them this. I'm like, all right, in 2012, Instagram, popped up and, everybody said, or not 2012, 2010, I believe, 2010, 9 it was. And people said, oh, Instagram, it's just got a bunch of kids on it. I don't want to be on there. Well,
it looks like that.
Yeah. 10 years later, those kids are now adults and they're looking for mentors. And if you took advantage of Instagram back in the day when it was an abundance of reach and virality for you to grow organically, you wouldn't need to hire a growth hacker like me to grow your Instagram account so that you can have more revenue for your business and more streams of income. So I think TikTok I love TikTok. I think it's amazing. I love the creativity of the users on that platform. I love how the virality chances of that platform are still so abundant. And, there's no growth hacking. It's just all content and trends. And they give you so much information and they give you so many trend analytics for you to understand what's working and what's not. So you don't have to play the guessing game, And if you just think about TikTok the way that you should have thought about, Instagram in 2010, in 10 more years, TikTok is all those young demographic users are going to be looking for, people like us to mentor them, and those people might turn, a percentage of those young users right now are going to turn into entrepreneurs like us. And then they're going to be able to start building coaching businesses out, and they're going to start able to do courses and sell services, etc., to maybe some new users on TikTok when they're, in their profession. So it's going to continuously grow. The audiences are going to always mature. And, I tell people that you should take advantage of a new platform as soon as it's out because, we all know, reach and visibility and all that stuff is going to get harder because the platform is going to grow.
Yeah, TikTok shows that in the first year when it showed up, it was like just jump in and do whatever you want. It was giving you so big reach, and right now you can see that it's already still in a matter of one video you can make it like millions and millions of views.
Yeah.
But before it was even easier because less people were posting, more content were needed to the system, and it was like really extremely easier. But still we are on the stage where we can get a lot from the beginning of the TikTok.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. And and the beauty is that people are starting to really want shorter curated content, and which makes our job a little bit more difficult because now where we used to have a minute and a half to really get our point across, now we have like 35-45 seconds at the high. Most people want that information in 20 seconds. So you have to get the point across in your content really fast because the attention span of users are so low. You have 3 seconds to grab their attention, and then you have maybe 50% of the rest of the video, you might have more retention. But for the most part, nobody's probably going to watch the end of that video. So that's why people have started to kind of create content that's even shorter because they really want the virality, and they also know that the retention rate is just going smaller and smaller. Look at YouTube. YouTube started building shorts because, they want to start building that shorter curated content. Yeah. People still, I don't even really watch cable or anything. I watch YouTube. That's what I watch really at home.
Yeah, like it's for me, our generation, it's like TVs are not existing in our brain. There are live streams like Apple Plus, Netflix, and all others. Yeah, there are lives the streaming platforms. But as a TV, for all of us, I believe it's a YouTube. Before stop watching TV, now we are saying to each other, hey, stop watching YouTube or watch that with the right content,
Yeah.
But it is as it is. It's true.
Yeah, for me, YouTube is TV for me. Like, that's what I watch. Like, when I go home, like I watch YouTube, whether it's podcasts, whether it's information that I'm looking at, whether it's competitors that I'm doing research on. Everything that I need is there. I don't need to go and watch cable. I haven't had cable in, I don't even know how long, forever.
The same for several years.
My parents have cable, which I just think is a huge waste of money because it's so expensive. But yeah, I mean, like, it's just everything that you need is now accessible to your phone. And most people are at their house with the TV on and watching, YouTube on their phone. Like, it's like they're using the TV as almost background noise so they can concentrate on their phone, which is like right here. So it's like, when you're looking at your phone, your retention rate is going to be a lot shorter than it is when you're looking at the TV. So if you're watching YouTube on your TV, your retention rate's gonna be longer because you're just chilling, right? So like typically if I'm watching YouTube on my TV, I'm watching something for almost the entirety of the video, unless it's just not engaging. If I'm on my phone, I want to watch something on YouTube for max, depending on how good the video is, 4 to 5 minutes maybe. But most of the time I find myself again on shorts. I'm looking at shorter curated content again. So it's just it's funny how trends and retention rates for becoming shorter and shorter. I don't know how much shorter it could get, but I think people are just going to get really. I just like to see how creative people get with figuring out retention rate, figuring out what's people are interacting with the best, what's trending right now, what kind of viral videos or people want to see. And I think people are just getting a lot smarter, and I love it. I think people are really diving into this space. And it's creating a lot of opportunities for people that are looking to build an audience, whether it's for a personal brand, a brand, etc. You have the opportunity to build something massive today without having to invest a ton of money. Honestly, close to nothing. It's awesome. I think it's going to keep evolving. It's going to continuously give people opportunities, and in the turnaround, it's going to allow people to feel a bit more, have more fulfillment in their life, do something that they actually enjoy doing rather than getting a job and going to school because that's just what the blueprint of what everyone says you should be doing is. I love the way that this whole space is moving because it's just letting people do what they want to do, not making them take the safe route and get a job at a place that they hate working at for the rest of their life. It's like anybody has the ability to build something on social media as long as they put the effort and time into the value and the content that they're delivering.
Tell me, please, according to especially Instagram, I mean, your major focus before was Instagram, and now it's like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, because obviously it's similar.
It's still heavily Instagram, just because that's where we sell the growth, and that's our sexiest service. But we have an abundance now of clients that we have multi-channel services with, but Instagram is still our bread and butter because that's where we can build the most substantial following quickly. Now we've had a client on Instagram for he's still with us. He's been with us for about 2 years. And this year he started having us help him with TikTok and YouTube. And he didn't want us to really create any specific content, platform specific content. He just wanted to really take the content that we're creating for him on Instagram and post that on YouTube and TikTok. And this is really interesting, is like he's got 17,000, 20,000 followers on Instagram. And he wasn't doing growth, just content. Within 10 weeks of being on TikTok, posting the same content that he had on Instagram, he grew to north of 150,000 followers.
Wow.
And on YouTube, he grew to 21,000 subscribers. And that was in like a month or two. All from shorts and then also, shorter curated content. All that same content we posted on Instagram, all the reels, we just posted for him on shorts and TikTok, and he grew substantially. Wow. People ask me like, how is that possible? And I'm like, is that common? It's not, the rapid growth that he had is not common. But the opportunity to have any sort of growth on any other platforms with that content is very possible. And sorry, this light turns off on me. Okay. So the reason being is that his content is so dialed in. He knows who his avatar is. He knows exactly what his audience is interested in. And, because he's in the fitness space and, he knows who he's speaking to, that content converts well on all those channels because he's not trying to be somebody different on each platform. He's trying to be the same person as he is on Instagram, on YouTube, and TikTok. And the avatar is the same. The audience is the same. The content speaks exactly to the same person. Like, he wasn't trying to do anything different. Now, I think for the fitness space, in that niche, it does help a lot. Now, for people like us, you and me are entrepreneurs. So I can't really talk about the same things I'm talking about on Instagram that I can on TikTok, because a lot of times people, will throw the scammer card at you. So for our entrepreneurs, it's a little bit more of a relationship building content strategy on TikTok. So on Instagram, I'm like, 5 tips to help, increase your retention on your content. Whereas on TikTok, it's like 5 things 5 advice tips I'd give to my, 18-year-old self, or 5 things I'd say to my, to a young entrepreneur, right? Because that's really the relationship building content that they want to see. It's more emotional driven. It's more entertaining. It's more just, less monetizing and sales heavy, So eventually that platform will mature into you being a little bit more aggressive when it comes to CTAs and working with you and inquiring about your services. But right now it's it's very much relationship building content. So if you can build that, that content inventory, that arsenal to be a little bit more catered around that, then I see there's really not a single niche that can't have success in that space, So it's just about the strategy, the messaging, and how you articulate value on each platform, and how is that going to resonate with the audience that is typically going to be following me, and that's the biggest thing, So depending on your niche, you can post everything kind of like around there the same, but for me on the entrepreneur space, like I can't post the same thing on TikTok and YouTube. YouTube and Instagram, yes, but not TikTok. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, we have to bring the attraction on the right way to the right piece of the content. But on this case, like regarding the content, I really believe that if someone who is thinking now about, oh my God, I want to grow, I want to scale my social media, but all what they're talking is about content, how I will get the idea for the content, how I will be shooting so many contents out there. I know that it was before as well question for myself, and it's question always what I hear around, or at least like kind of excuse why I haven't started yet. And I believe you can share really a couple of the golden nuggets, like here is the piece of content, this is what you can do with that, this is how it works, this is why you don't need a lot of energy and time to brainstorm about the new content. Can you guide it, please, how your structure is working in the company, that you create a lot of golden piece of contents from not that much energy invested from your client?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of our clients are, high level entrepreneurs, or they are people that are just starting out to grow their personal brands. And both of those people lack time, right? So for us, the biggest thing that we can help them do is to alleviate the time suck that it takes to manage an account. Because managing social media accounts is a full-time job, So like if you're running a business and your business is highly determined on, content and social media, you're going to be spending a lot of time on there, which is going to also take time away from potentially seeing the high-level overview of your business. So the way that we do that and alleviate the time is, one, we obviously, us working on the accounts ourselves is going to eliminate 15 to 20 hours a week from you right there. And then the second biggest concern people have is, how much time is it going to take for me to create this content? So what we like to do is we do all the market and competitor research for our clients. So we kind of figure out when we onboard them, like, who their ideal client avatar is, and really all of the minor details in there, like not just age, gender, and interest, right? It's like, what do they do on the weekends? Do they have kids? Do they play sports? Do they have hobbies? What do they fear? Well, what keeps them awake at night? What makes them happy? What makes them feel fulfilled? And that's all those questions really help us understand, okay, cool. Now that we have a pretty good idea of who the individual is that we're speaking to, we can now go do our due diligence and go do some research on people that are potentially in the same space as them, that have quality audiences and good engagement. And we'll see what those people are essentially talking about, what content is really resonating and working for their audience. And then we'll basically create hooks, video topics, bullet points, and then we'll give them the CTA. So we try to make it as easy as possible for our clients to get these content ideas for them, basically get in front of a camera or in front of their phone and just basically shoot that. So all they got to do is read the hook, kind of like expand on some of the bullet points we provide to them, and then we just give them the CTA. And then they basically upload that to a drive, and then we do all the post-production. Now that's for like the video side of things. Now, if you don't have a ton of video and you don't have a ton of time to also shoot videos, which, to me, I don't think that's a really valid excuse. I think anybody can find time for at least an hour a day, once a week, to shoot 5, to 10 videos. But if they don't have that time, most people are doing podcasts and content like this. So if they're not able to shoot specific content pieces, we can take their podcast, we can take their speaking engagements, we can take, any of their content or media that they have in the backlog, and we can repurpose that content piece for Reels and other content strategies. So that way we're increasing the amount of inventory they have, while giving them the ability to not have to spend that time shooting content. We always encourage them to shoot the content, though, no matter what. We try to get them to do that as much as possible. And then to basically create a more versatile content strategy that has more styles of content. We have content pieces like those Twitter content pieces that you've seen and we've worked with you on, and those are really easy to put together. We like to make those either into a 6-second long reel that loops, or they have to keep pressing play with. So that way, it doesn't demand them. It's really just words and quotes on a graphic. And then we usually try to use a heavy CTA to engage, or what we'll do is we'll make the caption actually part of that content piece. And then the CTA on the content piece will be read the rest in the caption. So that way the caption is actually the content piece, and then the retention on that's going to be longer because they're going and looking at the content piece. The CTA says to read the rest in the caption. So now this video is still going. They're still reading this. So the retention rate's like 100 to 200% because they might be watching it 1 or 2 times. And that's a really great way to create a content piece and expand on the amount of inventory that you have without having your face be in, demanding your face and you articulating words on video. And then obviously you can create carousels. Carousels are a great way to create retention-based content pieces and add value without having to really put the effort into creating that content piece and being on there. And then photos, people love stories, right? So if you have a photo, right, and you just post a one-liner caption, there's no value in that, right? The photo's got to be insane for it to get the amount of engagement that you're looking for. And in today's world, it's just not something that people will engage with. But you can use photos a few different ways. If you have a few photos, you can create a carousel, and then, you can create a long form caption. And for people that may not be good at coming up with stories or writing, there's ChatGPT, there's AI now that literally creates a substantial and really well-written caption for you based off of things that you plug into, so it understands what you're looking for. And then if you're good at using those AI tools, you'll never need a copywriter ever. And then, if you have a trip, let's say you went on a trip to, I just went to Tel Aviv in last May, and I could basically create a carousel, or I can take those photos and I can basically make the photos into an IG reel and just do jump cuts. And that way it's just kind of like a montage of photos from the trip with some cool music, some words on there for text, and then, make it 10 to 15 seconds long that people can go and, actually watch and engage with. And that's another content piece that doesn't demand you speaking on camera with, because you're just taking photos and you're essentially creating a fast, montage clip with jump cuts of different photos from maybe trips that you've had or speaking engagements, etc.
This is exactly the way, you don't have any ideas, you just go and see what is working on another site, and even just type the words. So many posts like that are really taking attention, especially these kind of tricks with the reels and videos, because you put in the capture in the bottom and kind of storytelling on the photos in the way of the video in the reels. people are just really stopping and swiping left and up and down again and again to finish reading, and it's counting like it's another view, another view, another view. So for algorithm, it's awesome. I mean, you're making the attraction, which is like people are still like, what's other content he has on his page. What do you think about the photos itself? Like in Instagram, I really prefer sometimes to have a photo, you know, like family picture or whatever on Instagram dashboard. But I noticed that everyone are moving to the kind of TikTok style, only reels, everywhere is reels. What's your opinion about the photo itself? If it makes sense or no?
I think that there are definitely a large percentage of users that are influencers that have a lot of authority that still get good visibility on their photos. You know, think of somebody who's a professional photographer, right? His page is going to be mainly photos. And whatever videos he creates, it's going to be jump cuts with photos in it. So I think photos still perform depending on your niche and your industry, but everything is going more towards video. People want to do less, right? People are going to want to watch a video over maybe reading a long form caption. I love copy, so I will always love reading copy and reading long form captions, but not everybody is me. Not everybody is you. Some people want really fast consumable content where they get the thing that they're looking for very fast and without having to think. So that's going to be mainly through video, because obviously people don't have to do as much thinking by watching video content, as they do graphic content, right? When you watch a movie, you're watching a movie and they're telling you everything. When you're reading a book, you're reading the book and you're creating the movie in your head. People would rather, you know, people on social media, like I said, they're saying, what's in it for me? They don't want to do a lot of work. They don't want to jump through hoops. They just want their content fast, and they want to not have to think about anything. They just want to digest it as quick as possible, you know. And when you have carousels and you have long form captions, you know, like it's still valuable. I think there's people that still have massive amounts of success with it. Do I think it's going to be around forever? I think people are always going to be able to post photos, but I think the performance-driven content is going to move more towards video entirely, because that's just the way the world is moving, you know? And that's just the way the world is moving, and that's the way I think it'll happen. But content always finds a way to recycle itself. So just because today, and maybe what we're moving into, is more video-based, it doesn't mean that that's sustainable. It doesn't mean that that's the most forever thing. Something else will come, you know? And as long as, the most important thing is as long as you stay on top of trends and what people are interacting with the most, you'll never lose, you know? So when you start to get lazy and you start to, you know, kind of get, you know, some clients of mine, like, they'll be like, you know, I don't know why my content's not working. And I'm like, well, what's up? And they're like, yeah, it's the same content I've been posting for the past 5 years. I'm like, well, that's your problem. You've never switched your content strategy in 5 years. And they're like, well, this is how I grew my following to hundreds of thousands of followers. So I'm like, yeah, you did that in 2015 when virality and the influencer boom was blowing up. It's way different now. It's a lot harder, you know, and like your content strategy from 5 years ago is not going to hold up with what people are creating now, you know? So it is always going to be a game of what's working now and what's trending, rather than what happened and what worked for me 5 years ago that I could still use and leverage today. You know, like, you're just going to get by. You're not really trying to increase in the performance of your page. You need to always stay on top of trends and what's the most appealing style of content that's working right now, and how can I leverage that to provide value to my audience.
What would be your, according to all these changes, exactly, like you catch the time when a lot of influencers start showing up and you're already in the business, and plus you have seen the algorithm base, how everything has been changed on the platforms, which is like followers for matter. Now it's not matter, it's more videos, how long video have been watched, likes for matter. Now likes doesn't matter, more important it's like a comments and capture and the thumbnail and so on. So several things has been changing during this journey, and you will adapt into those trends because it's your way of business. What's your projection or prediction in terms of, on terms of what could happen in next 3-5 years in terms of content side that could be changed or adjusted in terms of what's going to be real trends according how fast is everything moving now?
Yeah, I mean, like the thing that the trend that I'm seeing across like all niches and all verticals that I can identify is that people are just wanting their content shorter, and they want their content curated. They don't want to have to think about where to look for it. They don't want to have to go to someone's profile. They want it to be on their feed, and they want it to be effortless. So I think the only thing that I can see projection wise of like how things move or migrate is like shorter content it's going to, in my opinion, it'll keep getting shorter until it can't. I think we're almost there now. Like, I don't know how people can really provide value.
Just the one spot, dark spot. That's it.
Yeah, literally like 2 seconds. I don't know how it could possibly get shorter than that. I think just having more features and tools that I don't really know a style of content that I can project. I just know that reels and videos itself are just going to become more and more intuitive and more imperative to the growth of your brand. But I think what will help is like just more features to streamline that, right? Like there's AI now that can write copy just as good as a person that you would pay $5,000 for to create a sales page, right? And there's Instagram and YouTube and TikTok have scheduling tools now, so you don't have to go to third-party applications to schedule out your content in advance. It can all be done from your phone. So I think the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is seeing how we take these platforms and how much more like intuitive and streamlined they create their platform to help more creators streamline their content, just making it more effortless, like just giving them the abilities to have more tools, having more editing tools from their phone, not having to go and use Premiere, Final Cut, After Effects, giving people everything that they need right on their platform. That's where I see these platforms going, is they're just getting you the ability to have more features, more royalty-free music, more trended music that they license from, big record labels, and giving you the ability to interact with other people in a more efficient way. There's so many different things that I can think of that I would love to see. For me, I really love the scheduling tool that they have on Instagram now. Because I was using Facebook Creator Studio for a long time for all my clients, and we've just noticed that even if you're using Facebook Creator Studio, which is literally their scheduling app, the engagement just isn't as good as it is when you post it natively from your phone. So that native scheduling tool has really helped increase the amount of productivity that we can have in my agency for our clients.
I was thinking that you're speaking.
It also provides you the ability to have more native-driven content that you could schedule from the platform itself.
That's interesting, man. I was thinking that you're speaking about Facebook Studio, about the posting with the scheduling. So now they finally made it. I mean, native scheduling tool inside of the source.
Some people don't have the feature, but I have it. I just checked it out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and like you basically go to create a video, and you hit the check mark, go to the next step, and you go to advanced settings. Right when you go to hit the share button, scroll down, see the advanced settings, and it'll say schedule this post. You hit the little toggle, and it'll let you pick the day, the month, date, and the time of that post.
And it gives, in your opinion, what you have seen and compared, better engagement rate to compare with the making scheduling absolutely. In advance.
Yeah, because think about how long it takes to create a post from scratch. It probably takes, if you're in a creative mindset and you're good to go, like sometimes it takes 5-10 minutes, but then sometimes you get into a creative block and it takes you 2-3, sometimes it takes you 2 hours, and then you got to walk away from it and come back, and you got to spend another hour to finish it, and then you post it, right? Or you don't post it because now it's past the time that my audience is most active, so then you don't even post it. Then you got to wait till tomorrow to post it. Now your reach is being affected. Well, this is just awesome because now people who are creating content can basically just spend a whole day shooting content right at one after another on their phone, schedule it, go to shoot another one, create it, schedule it, go to shoot another one, create it, schedule it, all from their device. They don't have to set up their room. They don't have to.
It's time saving. It's
It's massive amounts of time saved, and that's the reason that some people don't really move forward with their personal brand or really taking it serious, because it does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of your time, which is fine for me. I'm cool with people being lazy on that, because it just makes gives me more abundance.
Of course.
Because I'll do whatever I need to do, to win. When it comes to competitors, or just my agency and my business, and the success of my team members. But yeah, the more just making things more efficient is going to give people more incentive, because it's just making it so much more easy. Like, you don't have to. Nobody wants to be have their phone here, using their laptop, jumping back on their phone, using their laptop, jumping back on their phone, going to the shooting room, turning on their camera, pulling out the hard drive, uploading it to your computer, editing it on your computer, airdropping it to your phone, posting it on social media. That is literally like how this has been, working forever. But now it's like, all right,
it sounds like nightmare now.
I can do everything now on my phone, and it's so much easier, and it gives people way more incentive to actually provide really entertaining and quality and valuable content.
Awesome, man. I have one question which is I'm asking everyone on my podcast, and this is all about your personal opinion and your life experience. Would you choose the journey or end result?
I'd probably choose the journey, because the end result is, in my opinion, a result of all of the experiences that you have along the way to that end result. And, for everybody's end result is different, but what I think about is all of the wins I've had along the way, all of the failures that have come across my way, and all of the wisdom that I've achieved through failing, and all of the wisdom that I've achieved through networking and meeting people that are substantially more successful than me, that give me, years of knowledge that I can use to my advantage, and then, write my own destiny. Like, the end result for me is awesome, but the amount of fulfillment and just gratitude that I always have for any experience that I go through is so much more valuable. And that to me, I can now achieve anything. I'll get to my end result, and then I take all the experiences that I've had in that journey, and I can go create a new goal. And all of those things will basically transfer over and help me achieve that next goal faster, because I'm now more seasoned, and I'm smarter, and I'm more experienced.
Yeah, the journey is always with us, but then the results can be changed. And when you achieve it, you just like thinking, okay, what's next? And still journeys continue.
I think it's like, life is so much better than what a lot of people believe. We're very fortunate. I'm very grateful for everything that I've gone through, the good and the bad. And, sometimes we forget how good we have it. And then it takes something really messed up for us to realize, oh wow, we actually have it really good compared to a lot of other people. A lot of other people are not as fortunate as us, and they would do anything to be in our shoes. And to me, that is why I always choose the journey, because I love my life. I am very grateful, and I wake up every morning and I try to try to have gratitude and be grateful for, a few things. I write them in my journal, and you just don't get that when you just, when you hack life, or you try to hack life and you get to the end result, you miss all of those amazing opportunities, memories, lessons and wisdom along the way, which are what makes us grow into the next version of ourselves.
I agree with you. Sounds really great, because I have a lot of similar thoughts all the time, especially when I'm asking these questions. I'm thinking from my perspective, and a lot of similar thoughts from my end. However, since we are just like guys going till the end, I just want to ask you, Roddy, tell me please where guys can find out to you, for any kind of social media or maybe website name, or what's the best place for them?
So the best place to, follow me and, interact with me and ask me more questions would just be my Instagram page. So at Mike Roddy, MikeRoddy.
Awesome. Anyway, we're gonna be added that in our bio under this video and the podcast platform. The most important is that if you guys reach out to Roddy, he will be analyze your page directly in a matter of like half an hour and tell you what's wrong and what you can be improved. So if you wish to start your own journey with your social media platform and become an authority person there, I believe you have to take like half an hour, 1 hour to jump on the call with him or some of his team members who are gonna be help you out with that. Because I was one of them. I know several people out there who was on our podcast who are just some of my friends. They're using his services because they know what they're doing. Roddy, thank you so much for being here and thanks for your time, and looking forward to speak on some other subjects in the future.
Absolutely. I appreciate you inviting me on here. I'm very grateful, man. Thank you.
Thanks, bro.